What's up, y'all? Welcome back to an ESPN NFL 2K5 franchise rebuild with the Miami Dolphins, and this is as rebuildy as we're going to get. We are officially in the off-season of Season 1. Technically, we're still in the postseason of Season 1, but you know what I mean. We took a third loss out of 3 games to the New England Patriots, losing to them, and moving on from there. We're going to check out our team stats before we go into the results of the rest of the regular season. As you see, Carson Palmer, after becoming the starting quarterback, threw for 57%, 1,700, almost 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Carson is certainly the quarterback of the future. We're hoping for a better season for him next year for sure. Ricky Williams, though, had himself a hell of a season. 1,739 yards, 5.4 per carry, 15 touchdowns, 164 broken tackles. I've never had a season with that many broken tackles ever, and a converted 2-point conversion. Ricky Williams is one of the favorites to take home the rushing title this year. Chris Chambers was our leading receiver by almost double the yards, 836 in total. He also had himself 5 total touchdown catches, alongside his counterpart, David Boston, also hauling in 5 of those touchdown catches. On the defensive side of the ball, now the tackle stats don't usually go as high as the computer teams, especially if our offense is really good. So Arturo Freeman had 61 total tackles on the year. Our high in assists goes to Zach Thomas with 23 total assisted tackles to go along with his 54 solo tackles. Sammy Knight right behind him as well. Jason Taylor and Ogunleye split sacks, 10 apiece. Reggie Howard had 27 passes deflected throughout the entire season. Sammy Knight kind of just behind him with 22 batted balls. No one else really close to them. Lots of interceptions for our secondary, though. Arturo had 7 of them. Sammy had 6 of them. Reggie Howard, Sam Madison each had 5. Zach Thomas surprisingly up there with 4 interceptions as well. And Olindo Mare did not have the best kicking season, 20 for 26, 77%. I'm going to put a lot of that on me. I think I'm going to be a lot better using him this season around. And on the kick return, Jeff Schote was a good pickup for us in the offseason, getting a great year as the punt returner. Now, if we're looking at the entire league, Peyton Manning is the best quarterback in Season 1 of this Miami Dolphins rebuild by quarterback rating. If you go by total yards, Steve McNair is the high quarterback. Peyton Manning is sitting there in that second place, but McNair really lived up to his Eric McNair name, getting nearly 3,900 yards. And if we were going by touchdowns, Dante Culpepper would be the best quarterback in the league, throwing 30 touchdowns to just 10 interceptions. Peyton Manning is right up in there as well. Now, we can only assume that by this, Ricky Williams is going to win the rushing title. 1,700 yards. The closest guy was Sean Alexander, 400 less yards than him. 15 total touchdowns. It still leads the league, just 1 over Amon Green. Marshall Faulk and Corey Dillon each had 11 apiece. So great season for Ricky Williams. Receivers, 5 receivers over 1,000 yards this year. Marvin Harrison leading them all with 1,159 yards. Marvin Harrison and Andre Johnson also split the receiving touchdown honors this year, taking in 10 receiving catches apiece. T.O. and Peerless Price right behind them. Now, this is what I mean when I say that we don't get nearly as many tackles as the computer. Mike Minter leading the league with 110 total tackles. Ray Lewis, surprisingly, leading the league with 14.5 total sacks with that nasty Baltimore Ravens defense. They did terrible things to us at the end of the first season, regular season. Reggie Howard and Sammy Knight managing to lead the league in passes defended, 27 and 22 each of them. Patrick Surtain, the guy that we traded away, if you see there, was 3rd on that list. And for interceptions, Arturo Freeman is in 4th, but Chris Chavis, Glenn, and Champ Bailey are all in front of him. And I was just curious. I wanted to look at forced fumbles to see what the league looked like here. So you can see LeVar Arrington, Brian Dawkins, Singleton, and Holmes all leading the league in forced fumbles this year. And the best kicker by field goal percentage is Jay Feely. He took 12 of them. He made 12 of them, although there were a lot of kickers who took a lot more field goals than that, as you can see here. And the best punter by net average, which is what I usually measure it by, is Scott Player out of Arizona. No wonder that was not a great team. They are punting a lot this year. The best kick returners this year goes to Liddell Betts with 3 total kick return touchdowns. Lee and Foster were right behind them as well. On the punt return side, we've got McLean and McCutcheon and Glenn, of course, all returning 2 touchdowns from punts apiece. Now, if you look here, we've got our total rankings, and the Dolphins had a total, they get a pretty strong year. We were 11th overall in total yards on offense. We jumped way down if we thought about pass offense. We were the 29th team overall in passing defense. But if you looked at the running, which we were really, really good at, thanks to Ricky Williams and our other players, we were all the way up to first place in total rush offense. So we love to see that for ourselves. Flipping over to the defensive side of things, we're second in the league in total yards allowed. The 49ers were the only other better defense than us, which is surprising because I don't think the 49ers had that great of a season. We were third in stopping the pass, total yards allowed, third in stopping the pass. Only the Buccaneers and the 49ers did better than us against the pass, which makes sense. We did deflect a lot of balls. And on the run, this one I was very surprised about. We were second in stopping the run. Only the Ravens were better than us at stopping the run, which is sort of surprising. We were dead last in the league, 32nd out of 32 in third down conversions. That is definitely something we're going to need to improve next season. And in fourth down conversions, we weren't much better. We were 30th in the league, 12 for 6 total. We did go for it almost the most in the league. You see the 49ers went for it a lot as well. Red zone scoring percentage, we were kind of in the middle of the pack, somewhere in that like 12 to 15 range, 86% overall. Pretty good. We could always improve red zone percentage, and with our good defense comes a pretty good red zone scoring percentage. I believe we were in the 20s for this one. I don't have my numbers right in front of me. In turnovers, we were also in the middle of the pack. Of course, if you're going to improve the turnover number, you're always going to get more wins and farther in the playoffs. So we definitely want to improve that turnover number. We were just around 10th, I think that is, in total points scored. So we do have a somewhat potent offense, maybe a little bit lower than that, somewhere in the middle. And we were again second in total points allowed. So a great job by our defense overall. We do have some pieces we're going to need to improve, but great job by our defense. Now looking at the season awards before we get into the postseason, the most valuable player is going to go to Peyton Manning, the Indianapolis Colt, getting 3,800 yards, 29 touchdowns, and leading his team to a great season. And right behind him, the offensive player of the year goes to Steve Air McNair, 3,854 yards, 25 total touchdowns. Some great play out of both of those quarterbacks this season. Now, we talked about Ray Lewis when we talked about how many sacks he had, and that is enough to get him Defensive Player of the Year with his 96 tackles, but those 14.5 sacks is absolutely nasty. Phillip Rivers out of San Diego getting Offensive Rookie of the Year, 2,851 yards, 19 total touchdowns. Good job by him. And on the Denver Broncos, outside linebacker DJ Williams is going to take home Defensive Rookie of the Year with his 86 tackles and 6.5 sacks. And as predicted, Ricky Williams takes home the rushing title. Now, this is the first rushing title win in any of the rebuilds that we've run. Congratulations to Ricky Williams. Now, going through our transactions through the year, we did acquire Carson Palmer for a couple of picks, including our first-round pick this year, and A.J. Feely. We gave away Geno James for some picks. We gave away Patrick Surtain for guard Ruben Brown and some draft capital. And we also got rid of Jeff Segonia for some draft pack capital as well from the Jaguars. Now, looking at A.J. Feely, he did not play a single snap after he was traded to the Bengals. But, of course, John Kitna is getting up there in age, so we might see him more in year 2. Patrick Surtain, at a 93 overall, had a really, really good year for the Bears, but we don't necessarily miss him too much. Now, before we get into the results of Season 1 of this Miami Dolphins rebuild, make sure, especially if you've gotten this far, you are subscribed up to the channel. We live streamed this entire off-season run, so if you want to be there, make sure you're smashed up on the sub button. And thanks, as always, for hanging out. So we've got the Division Championship week in Season 1. Kansas City playing Indianapolis, New England, the team to beat us, playing Denver, Washington, Philly, Atlanta, and Seattle. And with the magic of simulation, we can see the results right here. Kansas City and New England will dance on into the AFC Championship, and Philadelphia, that very highly anticipated game against Washington, they get the victory. They move on to face the Atlanta Falcons. So we move right on into the Conference Championship week. We've got Kansas City visiting New England, and we've got Atlanta visiting Philadelphia. Let's see how this all shakes out. And just like the 2004-2005 season, what are the odds? And 3 times we've done this, this hasn't happened so far. The Philadelphia Eagles will be facing off against the New England Patriots, which, if you remember history correctly, if you were alive for history, that was the Super Bowl matchup that happened way back in the 2004-2005 season. So it's McNabb and T.O. against Tom Brady and crew, and just like history, the New England Patriots are the Super Bowl champions in the 2004-2005 season. Congratulations, I guess, to Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and crew, and especially congratulations to Corey Dillon, who happened to take home the Super Bowl MVP award. It shows his total season stats, so he had a great season, 1,000 yards, 11 total touchdowns. Good job by him. Now, we don't really care about the results of the Pro Bowl game, but we are going to shout out our two Pro Bowlers. The first being Ricky Williams. As you can see here, he was first in Pro Bowl voting, almost 100,000 votes more than Corey Dillon. And Reuben Brown, our guard that we traded for from the Bears, also got first place in Pro Bowl voting. So congrats to our two Pro Bowlers, Reuben Brown and Ricky Williams. And without further ado, we're going to just skip right into our off-season, starting with the retirement period. We had 3 retirements. We're going to let them all walk away. Junior Seau is hanging it up after 16 years of the league. Jay Williams is saying goodbye after 11 years. And then our tight end, I think he was third on the bench, Perry, who was also up for an expiring contract. Ed Perry saying goodbye. Some cuts of our expiring guys. Terrence Wilkins is going to go into free agency. He was fast, but that was about it. He didn't really bring much to our receiver room. Leonard Henry, he's a third-year guy. He's also currently our third-string running back. We have to make a choice between bringing him back or bringing Travis Minor back, and we're going to end up choosing Travis Minor. We also say goodbye to one Sage Rosenfels. We're getting rid of a lot of our, I don't want to call it fat. That sounds like it's disrespectful, as we also say goodbye to Tyrone Williams in this one. We signed Tyrone last offseason with the knowledge that we probably wouldn't be bringing him back for another year. Now, we're going to get into some signings here with some of our expiring guys. So Chris Chambers was a guy that I knew I wanted to sign right away. We give him a 4-year balanced deal. Now, we're saying goodbye to some other guys that are not in expiring contracts as we get rid of Delahouze there. He's a long snapper, and this game doesn't really do anything with long snapper, so that gets us a little bit of money back. Now, we have 2 great defensive ends, and we want to sign Agunlie again, so we're going to go ahead and cut Bowens to free up a little bit more cap room, and this allows us to sign Agunlie. He wanted 6 years. We're just going to give him 4 years, another balanced deal, pretty generous on the bonus as well. And at this point, we looked at what Sammy Knight wanted, and he just wanted a lot of money for not a lot of time. So we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to Sammy Knight, even though he had a great season for us, and we're definitely going to be prioritizing our strong safety in the draft. We also get rid of John St. Clair. I don't like his blocking numbers, and it gets us a lot of money back, so we release him as well. And we use some more of that money that has opened up in order to sign Moreland Greenwood, our outside linebacker. He's currently going to be the best outside linebacker we have on the roster. We also decide that we have enough money now to give Travis Minor a deal. We're going to give him a descending deal, so he's getting paid the most this year, but he's also probably going to get used the most this year, so hopefully we're paying for something good there. I was definitely back and forth. There's a lot of center talent in this draft, but we do end up also signing Seth McKinney to ideally be our veteran backup for whoever we draft. The only really big retirements here, one was Jerry Rice and Rod Woodson both retiring for the Oakland Raiders, and the other one, which is kind of surprising, is Deuce Staley decides to hang it up before Jerome the Bus Bettis decides to retire. And with all of the cap room that we don't have, we only have $4.2 million currently in cap room. We are going to be viewers and not participants in free agency this year. I'm just kind of highlighting the big names that were in the list here. The first being Rick Demuling. He got signed by the Cleveland Browns, so they go ahead and bolster their guard set there by getting signed. Bubba Franks goes and joins Algie Crumpler, making that a very dangerous tight end room for the Atlanta Falcons, although with 1 year left, we'll see if Crumpler goes up on the trading block. Chris Hovan goes and joins A.J. Feely over on the Bengals, and Sean Ellis, the former Jet, now goes over to the Detroit Lions, so that's one less problem of a defensive end we have to worry about in our conference. And Mushin Muhammad goes over to the Jacksonville Jaguars to make that receiving room a little bit more dangerous. So with free agency now behind us, we are going to jump directly in to our draft. Now, we don't have a first round pick. We played around with trading up for somebody, but there was no one that we really loved. So we go ahead and use our second round pick on Neil Mathis, the Duke man. A strong safety is going to probably immediately become our starting strong safety. Our first of 2 third-round picks, we go ahead and pick Rufus Dixon out of South Dakota State. We had another pick in the 3rd round. Just a few picks later, we go ahead and grab our outside linebacker need by getting Matt Webb, a short but fast outside linebacker out of Ohio. We go ahead and take the opportunity in the 4th round, where we also have 2 picks, to grab Omar Perkins out of North Carolina State. And then we find an absolute gem of a cornerback here, Pablo Reed, in the 4th round as well, out of Army, 6'2", a 4.38 40. He is a fast boy, and he is now on the squad. Moving on to the 5th round, where we also have 2 picks, we grab Ernest Moss, a tight end out of Illinois. Can't really catch quite yet, but we're hoping that develops for him. We also grabbed another project of a tackle in the form of Grady Torres out of Memphis. We knew his stats based on the scouting. He wasn't our first choice. Hell, he wasn't even our 3rd choice, but we went ahead and grabbed him anyway in the 5th round. Moving on to the 6th, we get Thornton, who is a defensive end, also out of North Carolina State. So North Carolina State, this one's a quick one, maybe not as big. And in the 7th round, we go ahead and grab Shannon Yates, a 6'5" receiver out of Texas, who also had a 4 out of 5 hands. We're hoping he can come on and do something for our team. Now, we're going to go through all the signings. You can see that we signed Rufus Dixon for a nice long 6-year deal. We signed Neil Mathis, who comes in at a 77 overall. I guess this is sort of also showing you their overalls. Rufus was an 80 overall getting drafted. We also here decide that we need to cut some more players in order to make room for some guys on the roster. So Dorset Davis gets unfortunately shown the door to open up some cap room. We then choose Omar Perkins as someone to sign for 4 years. Signing rookies for long deals is always the best option. I don't love giving them bonuses, especially if they're under a 70. As you can see there, we gave Dixon a 10% bonus because he was a 74. We're not giving that Webb a bonus because he's a 65. If he never pops, then no harm, no foul. Terrell Thornton is going to be our backup defensive end for our 2 elite guys over there. He's going to not get paid a lot for his first couple of years. We'll see if he develops at all. Pablo Reed coming to us. We're going to grab him for 5 years. That 5th year is maybe a little steep. We're really hoping he develops into a real guy by that point. Ernest Moss, he's a 64 overall to start. Like I said, more of a blocker than a pass catcher at this point. We're going to sign him for a cheap 3-year deal. All these deals are ascending also, if you haven't noticed as well, trying to pay them the least amount in their rookie years and getting them up to the most by the time that they're the best, theoretically. Grady Torres, only a 47. We will see how he develops. So we're going to jump straight into the preseason from here. Spoilers, we don't really sign anyone else in the preseason as much as we look, except for one other guy. We go ahead and grab one more backup defensive end. I really like Isaac Hilton as a special teams and backup defensive end guy for our Detroit Lions franchise. I noticed he was in free agency and we had one more need there, so we went ahead and grabbed him. So now we have 4 games that we're going to go ahead and hit that GameCast simulation through. The first being the Chicago Bears. Miami Dolphins going to visit their trade piece, Patrick Surtain. And it is the 2nd week, so we are going to get some starters for a little bit. So sit back, relax, and enjoy game number 1 of 4 for this Dolphins preseason in season number 2. So the Dolphins get the win in their first game of the preseason, very much so on a blocked punt by our new rookie strong safety, Neil Mathis, recovered by our new rookie cornerback, Pablo Reed. So good job by the rookies, already making their presence felt, and the Miami Dolphins are 1-0 heading into game number 2 of the preseason. We are traveling again to much sunnier San Diego to take on LaDainian Tomlinson, the reigning rookie of the year offensively, Phillip Rivers, and the rest of the Chargers. Take a look. This one was indeed a little bit more of a rock fight, but the Dolphins hold on regardless to take home the 7-6 win over the San Diego Chargers. I guess we're playing a tour of teams that we've traded people to, because now we are back home to welcome AJ Feely and the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's see if we can go 3-0 as we head into game number 3 of this second preseason. it was looking a little dicey for the Dolphins there for a second in this one, and then AJ Feely came in and we secured the third win of 3 for ourselves in this preseason. So we're 3-0. I almost never see teams go either 0-4 or 4-0, especially my teams. So maybe the game will work against us here. Maybe we'll walk out of this with another victory. It's going to be mostly starters here, and the Eagles are very good. These are the reigning NFC champions. So let's see if we can get ourselves a victory against the Philadelphia Eagles. And get a win we did. I don't know if I should be excited or very concerned that this team went 4-0 in the preseason. So we did the thing, man. We got our roster together, and it looks like we're going to probably make some noise this season. And we're going to have no shortage of tests as we start season number 2. We start at New York for the Jets. We then go home for the Patriots, and then we have to head straight back to New York to play the Bills. So we're going to have 3 games right away into conference play. After playing the Texans, the Lions, and having a bye week, we then face off the Pittsburgh Steelers, which are no joke. We head to Minnesota, which is no joke. We play the Jets again. We travel to the Ravens, who just absolutely knocked the crap out of us last time. The Packers and the Bengals, who we already know are pretty good, before facing off against the Bills again. The Bears, which rounds out our NFC West journey, or our NFC North journey, apologies. The Denver Broncos are always very good, and of course the Pats and the Browns to finish off the season. Now looking at some key players and roster improvements, Carson Palmer is now an 86 overall, so we love to see that growth out of our starting quarterback. Ricky Williams has taken a slight regression, and he's now down to an 90 overall, although he's still very, very good, and that break tackle is still a 92. Chris Chambers has taken a step forward. He is now the best receiver on our roster by rating, as David Boston has dropped down to an 88. So Chris Chambers is now our starter, number 1 at an 89. Rufus Dixon, the third-round guy that we took out of South Dakota State, is now an 85 overall, solidly our starter in the center position. Jason Taylor remains over that 90 mark. I can't remember if he was a 91 or a 90 last year. He is now a 90 overall for this season. Our strong safety out of Duke that we drafted is an 82 overall, so good improvement out of Neil Mathis as well, and that's going to round out most of the updates. If you want to see all of the guys and where they ended up, you can check out the live recording of this video. And this is our team, man. 87 overall, an 80 defense, which we've improved from a 75, and an 89 offense means we are ready to take on season number 2 of this Miami Dolphins rebuild. Thanks so much for watching and for joining so far. If you've made it this far, make sure that you're smashed up on the subscribe button. Leaving a like or a comment really helps us out in the algorithm, as you know, the almighty algorithm. And leave a comment about how you're feeling about this season, about who you're most excited to see in action, what game you're most looking forward to. And as always, we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. This has been Peanuts 24/7.